Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our very first week of the RLO Masters. My name is Max von Neumann. Joining me is David, and I actually don't know your last name, so I'm just going to assume it's David Cheeseman as we get ready for, 3 exciting series to figure out who's going to be our first weekly champ.
Yeah, I'm not going to correct you on that one. I am going to correct you on the fact that it's afternoon. Is this afternoon for you? How late are you waking up these days, mate?
Yeah, I don't really want to go into my sleep schedule right now. I think some things are probably best left open to the imagination. But, it's the afternoon in WA, and I'm sure, some WA fans are out there. But, yeah, it's going to be a brand new tournament, a brand new format, and I'm hoping it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, $3,500 in prizes a month. This is, monumental for OC, a brand new era for OC, of course, alongside, $225,000, maybe even $300,000 for RLCS. So I calculated if it was across 12 months of the RLO Masters, that would be another $42,000. So an incredible amount that people would have been dying for before. We have more Rocket League than ever before in the Oceanic region, and we finally get to see some of the matchups as well that we've missed out previously in this season.
Yeah, and it's not just more Rocket League for those top teams as well. There are 2 divisions. There's sort of that Masters division as well as an Open division. Teams in that Open division can compete to try and get to that Masters division, and it's sort of another avenue to play with some of the best that Oceania has to offer. So truly a very special tournament, and it's going to be interesting to see how it develops, to see which sort of teams will rise up to sort of take on that generic top 16 that we see right now. Obviously, with our very first week, we're going to be seeing a few familiar faces tonight, especially as we're already in that top 8, already in that quarterfinals. And with our first match, it's going to be Riot taking on the Gaming Gamers. And this is a very interesting one because I feel as if for Riot, they have a fair bit to prove right now.
Yeah, they certainly do. Of course, they didn't make it into the major, and in fact, they've looked kind of nervous, but they've made a great lower bracket run here, a couple of 3-0s to get them here. I feel like they've already proven at this point, just with this effort, obviously, that they should have at least had a better run into that top 16 major, but of course, unfortunate results and maybe a bit of nerves, pressure getting to them has unfortunately left them out of there, so the RLO Masters is even more important for them.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. Not to mention, this has also sort of become that new testing grounds for new lineups we might be seeing as we move forward in that RLCSX, getting closer to that winter split. Of course, it's in summer because nothing ever makes sense here in Australia, but we're definitely seeing some new sort of lineups, some new players being swapped around. I saw, one team in particular we all saw on Twitter kind of are going their different ways, and it's going to be curious to see how they start to perform here in this tournament.
It will be, I guess, a surprise. There's always going to be some upsets coming out, and of course Riot Gaming have been causing the upsets. They could take on Gaming Gamers, who are playing with Misty. So obviously the dissolution of that Direwolves roster has some changes already, and maybe the new format of RLCS, it's not the savior of OC after all. I think there's a ton of roster shuffles that are about after this major.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how Misty is going to perform on this Gaming Gamers lineup as well, considering that the Gaming Gamers did just come off of that semifinal performance running their substitute Vive, and they actually looked very strong in doing so. That kind of tells me that Misty has to step up and can perform to that same level that the Gaming Gamers would be expecting.
To shut up about it and get into it, it's the grid going down under for me. This is, the team's finally getting an opportunity to play every single week. But for Gaming Gamers, they're looking to drive towards the top. Riot Gaming have already proven themselves in my eyes, but could take that even a step further.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one as we do take one last look at their lineups. The usuals on the Riot Gaming, you have Change, Siva, and Zuko. They were able to stay together all split long, and taking them on is Zen, Fiber, and as mentioned before, previously of the Direwolves, one Misty going to be joining this very mechanical squad. And it does make sense in my eyes, at least, to see Misty sort of play with these players. I am hoping maybe he can almost calm them down a bit and kind of act as that stable third man that sometimes the Gaming Gamers seem to lack, but we will see what happens as we are now kicking this one off.
You have to look at Misty as well. Consistent, mechanically especially, should be a solid third man, but it hasn't worked out for now. Straight off the kickoff, Siva gets the first.
And it takes 4 seconds for our opening goal in the RLO Masters quarterfinals on that main stream, and Siva will get the credit for it. Just a very nice kickoff, it looked like. Was able to cheat forward, get that second touch, and take that early lead.
Maybe even a bit of a surprise. Maybe at this point in time, gaming gamers haven't figured out what their kickoff strategy will be as this new roster, but that's a bit of a surprise there that there's no one ready to challenge in front of this. Fiber getting a nice play around the corner, but after that, I think it was Zen actually getting a big demo on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it also looked like Siva got bumped off the play at the very, very end right there in the goal as well. So, 2 quick kickoff goals. I mean, kind of sloppy defense realistically on both sides, so I kind of want to write that one off and just say, okay, we're starting for real now, especially because we've had our longest exchange already, 10 seconds and still no goal. Hold that thought, save barely made.
Yeah, not a very clean start to this one, but not what you'd expect when you've got the likes of Gaming, give it a new roster, and you've got probably still figuring themselves out against some of the higher teams. Knowing that they are very good against those out top 8. But in OCE, the top 8 are another beast entirely.
I feel as if OCE, it's really trying to crack into that top 4 where you start to make those waves, and the Gaming Gamers have been that team that is constantly on that bubble. Zen, he's going for a pretty tricky shot right now. It's already gotten a couple resets, but it's Fiber who will get that dunk and get the team's second goal.
Zico maybe trying too much here. He gets underneath it, but ends up looking to, I guess, get it high. A bit awkward there, and watch by Fiber.
Yeah, that is a good look right now for Fiber, who has constantly been impressive just throughout the entirety so far of RLCSX, as well as some of those tournaments beforehand. It seems like each time on stream, he is looking more and more impressive, and I still feel as if the Gaming Gamers are that right fit for him. Speaking of the Gaming Gamers, Zen looking to push up the field right now. This is another fairly open net. Misty is there, and it's a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, this is starting to get a little worrisome for me as, you know, you talk about Gaming Gamers usually as this high mechanical team, but they're playing it pretty solidly at the moment. They're winning off 50s and dunks and good challenges, and you have to worry if you're Riot, because at any point in time, there's even the Gaming Gamers could do. They could bring out those big solo opponents.
I mean, we've seen sort of hints of it already out of Zen. He's gone a couple little resets when trying to play off that backboard, and the fact that they're still sort of relying on the fundamentals as well as going for their flashy plays tells me that the Gaming Gamers are coming into this matchup very confident that they should be getting this win, and why not? They are the team that did just make the semifinals in that last fall regional. Riot Gaming isn't even technically a top 16 team, although that's only by standings alone. I think roster-wise, I agree with you, they probably are. But at the moment, it's just a completely more confident side playing in the blue team.
Well, you definitely have to put them top 16. They were the number 17 team for the major. And with Direwolves disappearing, well, they sneak into the top 16 from that. But they've already done far better than 16th place. They're already, in that top 8.
And, I mean, yeah, because that's the thing. They got that top 16 or top 17 only playing 2 of the regionals. If they had played that 3rd regional, it is pretty much almost guaranteed that they would have gotten those points to qualify. So this is still a premier match within this Oceanic region, but right now it's a little bit one-sided. A good change from Siva right there makes the save, but Zen tries to shutting it down at mid-pitch. Change is going to step forward and actually get blocked by Misty. Zen has a chance to clear this one down. Actually slow plays it, which is the smart move. Gets the pass up to Misty, but Siva will shut it down yet again.
Too many slow plays coming out from Riot, in my opinion. They've been getting 50s here. They're playing kind of into Gaming Gamers' grasp. We'll see if they can change it up, maybe get some more demos. It is, of course, early on in the series, but this is kind of paramount of what they're doing. Zuko again going for a dribble play, then Change goes for a dribble play. Siva's the first one who's kind of hit it into a spot where they can follow that one up. Yeah,
and Change will be the one who gets there. Siva also pushed super far forward. Zuko as well, just going to cut that one off at mid-pitch. It looks as if finally Riot smell blood in the water and are looking to strike, yet Fiber is able to find that great defensive touch up to Misty, and they're going to turn it into a counterattack. Zuko, very lucky that one bounced off the crossbar.
Always worrisome as well, because Fiber keeps getting great touches. He's one of those players that I've sort of said hasn't had a poor performance on a mechanical standpoint yet this season, and as a rookie, that really stands out for me. I mean, the only time I really saw him kind of fall down was up against Cringe Society, and You question whether that's Fiber not playing at his best or Cringe Society shutting him down. So you can kind of see exactly why he's been so painful for the opponents. And with 2 goals in the lead, they're also in a pretty commanding position in this game.
They are, but I have noticed this change in sort of style coming out of Riot. They now are going for those demos. They are starting to look for more pass plays, yet Fiber is just too good to be stopped. Another goal for this young kid as Gaming Gamers seem to put game 1 out of reach.
As so quick as well, and great trust there from from Misty. He hit that against the backboard. He could have followed it up. I'm sure Fiber called that early. He was certainly up early, and that's what prevented any kind of confusion, any kind of double commit that would have probably even prevented that from being a goal.
Now, I know you're saying Fiber's getting up early, and I'm starting to feel a little bit attacked right now just because of my sleep patterns. However, it definitely was quick to the ball, and Zuko, with possessions, going to try to get that ball to the backboard, but it will be shut down once again by the Gaming Gamers defense, who, to their credit, have done a great job in sort of reading every sort of look Riot has given to them. The defense from the Gaming Gamers playing pretty shutdown at this stage, although, as soon as I say that, the ball bounces in the ball, really rolls in, a shot from James goes a little bit high.
Keeping in mind as well, this game is over, but when it comes to these matches, the top 8 at the end of the month, you're going to be going into that monthly final. So a top 4 here secures a lot more points, gets you in a much better position for getting into that final, where the lion's share of money is just $2,000 in that monthly final. And Gaming Gamers want to secure as many points as they possibly can right here.
Yeah, absolutely. These quarterfinal matches, I think, are almost more critical than making it to the top 8, just because of how many points you can actually accrue for yourself, and you have to come into these with the assumption that Renegades, Cringe Society, and probably Ground Zero are always going to be in those sort of in the semifinal spots. So getting that 4th quarterfinal spot is always going to be huge for these teams because it's almost that insurance that they are going to be in that monthly final, and the Gaming Gamers right now are making a very strong case that they deserve to be there.
Yeah, I guess there's 2 real ways as well to do it, and we've talked all season long about how consistency is key, has worked better for some teams than others, but you have that route. You could either win or get into the grand final of one, and then you have some chance to make mistakes in others and still get into that monthly final, or you want to try and get into top 8 over and over again. So Riot, I think, will definitely want to have the best performance they can today. And I'd even say for Gaming Gamers, they've had inconsistent results across the season so far. So for them to get a top 4 would mean a lot in terms of securing the points, especially since next round, it's likely going to be the end of anybody's run because Cringe Society are probably waiting up there.
Yeah, it's never a fun time when you sort of look at those brackets and you see the Cringe Society on your half. To further your point, though, I also think it'd be super important for the Gaming Gamers to hit that top 4 because of this player right there, Misty, as somehow the Gaming Gamers defense holds on. Siva can't find the touch, and that was a whiff and a half coming out as Siva. Now Fiber with possession, slow plays it, gets the flick, yet Siva's able to rotate back for the save.
And that was a ridiculous save from Fiber at the other end. To even turn it into a goal, or a potential goal, is insane in itself because he committed everything to that. He went for a massive dive, just made the save, and still recovered, goes for an end-to-end dribble, kind of showing the impact that one player can have on this pitch. And maybe that's what's missing for me from Riot. They look like a decent team, they have some good challenges overall, but they don't feel like they have one person absolutely taking control.
If I'm going to look at someone who has been consistent on the Riot side, though, I think Change probably is the closest to it. He seems to be the only player who's been constantly at least going even on the 50-50s with every challenge, and he has been the one who has followed through it and gotten a few demos, but unfortunately, he's also constantly been that 3rd man, and we haven't really had a chance to see Change push forward. Defensive touch right there, looking for the pass to Zuko, but will be unable to catch it, so Zen will keep the offensive pressure for the Gaming Gamers. They'll get off the backboard, but get pinched down to the corner.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to see Riot go for this solo-heavy play, and especially for Gaming Gamers, they're so good at solo plays themselves that they're going to be really comfortable with that. They know they can defend and then send one person forward without really risking anything. But for solo players to come out from Riot Gaming, that's kind of odd because I guess, as I said before, individually, none of them have really stood out and actually been in a position where that solo play is going to turn into a goal for them.
Definitely not in this game, at least. Something I've noticed with Riot doing several of the open qualifiers for RLCSX, though, is that they do usually play this style as well, but against the weaker teams, they're able to get away with it because these lower seeded teams will commit more unforced errors, and then Riot has been very good at capitalizing on it. But as you mentioned, when you're against the Gaming Gamers, a team that makes so few mechanical mistakes, you're not going to get as many opportunities playing this similar style. And until we see sort of Riot mix it up, I feel like they're just going to get outmatched.
Yeah, that comes into a question of how do you deal with this in the long term as a team? What do you want to do? These guys have just snuck in to the top 16. Are they worried that they're going to lose their spot and get relegated? Well, they've made it into the top 8 now. So surely at this point, you kind of start thinking long term. What do you have to do to win? And that's probably going for a more cohesive, more aggressive style overall. Because the way it's going right now is solo plays and very defensive plays. That is going to be good enough to, beat some of the lower teams and to keep yourselves in the competition. But surely they want to be challenging the top and getting those prize monies and getting into that monthly final on a regular basis. And they only have 4 weeks to really do it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Although, to their credit, this game has been held at this sort of 0-0 deadlock for the first 3 minutes. I still feel it's kind of only a matter of time before someone on the Gaming Gamers breaks this one open. Yet, Riot will have an opportunity right now. The ball falling into the middle of the pitch, yet only Fiber is there to catch it. And with Boost to play with, goes for the reset. Change makes an easy read on the ball, but Misty already at mid-pitch, cutting it off. Going to play through the corner. No one is there, and Gaming Gamers in game number 2 definitely have a more passive approach, it looks like, content to sort of play this 0-0 game out.
Well, it's kind of funny to compare them how they're playing with Misty to how they were playing with Vive. He brought new life to that team and a real spark in the offense that really opened up the net, even against the likes of Mindfree. So now they're playing a lot more, I guess, relaxed. It's not leading to as many goals, and I wouldn't worry too much as well for Gaming Gamers. This is going to take them a lot of time to figure out how their attack works. What is another new roster for the same week? They've played with Leviathan and Vive and Misty all within the 1 week at the moment.
Yeah, it's a very interesting new look for the Gaming Gamers, and while I do think, yes, they're not running up the score like they sometimes are able to do so, I feel like if they were to play this style of Rocket League against some of the higher-ups, the teams like Cringe, Renegades, Ground Zero, they could perhaps find more success, and when they lose, they sometimes would tend to lose quite big, but right now, their defense is sort of holding on, stopping these solo plays from Riot, and it is a good look for them. All they need to do now is just get a goal on the board.
See, I kind of disagree there, because I feel like if they play this against the top 3 teams, for example, they're going to be scoring goals. They're going to be happy to not feel under the pump. In fact, I'd say kind of these two playstyles are matching up against each other. They're both playing quite defensively at the moment, both having 2 people back and looking for that solo play forward. And again, those top teams are going to secure goals past that and not feel threatened at the same time.
Well, we will have our first overtime, and it is going to be a 0-0-1. Personally, usually these are kind of my favorites right now, and it is Riot who strike first, getting that offensive pressure down. This could be a small disaster for the Gaming Gamers as Siva spikes it through. Takes 8 seconds, but Riot do take a game back.
We see a continuation of the kickoff goals. This is what happened at the very beginning of the series. A missed touch out into center, capitalized on by Siva. It's good to see him really pushing up aggressively and comfortably on that one.
Look, when you're against a team playing passive for so long, eventually you can get caught off guard, and I feel that might have been what happened a little bit for the Gaming Gamers right there. Siva able to get through, get that goal, and Riot Gaming make our opening series a proper one as we now sit 1-1.
Yeah, now I'm starting to miss the GOAT Vive. I mean, where is this man? He was an absolute terror when he played with Gaming Gamers on the weekend, and maybe we could see that from Misty. I mean, he's very good in the attack as well. It feels like Zen's gotten kind of used to playing more of a third-man role. Misty is kind of joining him there, and obviously that's going to develop over time as well, but that's probably what they're missing, a bit more offensive power. But for now, Riot Gaming winning off the defense in Game 2 and looking to carry that on to Game 3.
It's so unusual to see the Gaming Gamers constantly only sending one member forward, that one being Fiber thus far in game number 2. I still remember the days of Realize and Hawk where everyone was always looking for those big highlight plays coming for the squad, and right now we haven't seen too much of that yet in this series, although Misty with a great pass to Zen is going to help them take a 1-0 lead.
And that's the second demo goal as well that's happened for this team. Fiber chasing him all the way up the backboard, completely dogging him and hounding him around that corner. So the first goal to Gaming Gamers, and it's kind of adding a little extra element to their play.
Yeah, it's something that I want to see more of moving forward, although these kickoffs have been sort of a blemish. Change already has the demo. It's going to go for the ball as well. Gets it over the top of Zen. Fiber, though, will make that read off the backboard, and kind of open field in front of him. Only Siva is back. Fiber won't get that second touch, but Misty already shutting down the middle of the pitch. Back to sort of more one member forward, two members back from each team, though, initially.
1-0 is a good scoreline still for Riot. They're not going to be too worried about that. As if it gets further away, if it becomes a 2-goal lead, the fact that they haven't been super aggressive is certainly going to be difficult to make larger comebacks. This is in the defense for now, and we're seeing a bit more aggression come out from Riot, but I really would have liked somebody to challenge it. I think they're respecting the defense a bit too much for Gaming Gamers.
Well, the challenge was just made, but it wasn't the best one. Kind of a swing and a miss coming from Zen right there. Fiber still seems to be the only player on the Gaming Gamers constantly going up and attacking that ball when on the orange side of the pitch. That's a good bump from Change, yet Fiber was the one who he had to connect on this instance. Ball still in the corner. Fiber tries to find that bang out clear. Siva will shut it down straight into Misty, yet now we are starting to see Riot creep forward, and maybe they can create a scoring opportunity here.
They're playing so much closer, as you said. They're creeping forward into positions where now Gaming Gamers don't have much time, but this is the worry that they may have overcommit. It gets shut down, though. There was a brilliant pass into Misty. Zen has respawned in that back half of the pitch, but for a second there, we saw Riot go on the attack, and it looked good.
Yeah, that was the best look we've realistically seen from Riot thus far as ball continues to roll across the middle of the pitch. Be curious to see if they can establish that yet again. Siva's trying to get something going. Change already waiting on that blue side, and Zuko will be able to follow through. That's going to be a shot on target. Zen able to shut it down for now, but once again, you can see Riot, they're starting to press forward. They're trying to get those offensive rotations, and Change, with a bit of a drop shot, will be stopped by Fiber. Zuko on the follow through won't get power off this touch.
It really feels like Riot sort of took the same piece of information that I did. You know, there were moments where they just had a chance to take a shot and ended up backing off, and now they're really turning on the pressure, turning on the heat to these plays, and actually forcing out potential mistakes from Gaming Gamers. And I know as a team, especially as a new team, they are a bit more prone to mistakes than other teams. So they are playing the right game. You still have these solo plays and almost the flip reset there from Fiber that's still going to threaten the defense no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely, and we also do see it in the Gaming Gamers counter-attack. Even when Riot pushes forward, they do have to be cautious of how quick things can get turned around. Fiber nearly showing that off with a double touch right there, just a little bit off target. However, when you go against the best teams, that's always going to be a threat that you're going to have to deal with, and you have to have that confidence to still go for those plays. I like that Riot is starting to gain it right now. I want to see him get at least one goal in this one. Just want to see this strategy shift get rewarded, but for the Gaming Gamers, they're doing a good job in trying to shut it down. That was a nice save by Zuko.
Yeah, they keep managing to get it away past two players with just one, and it's giving a numbers advantage for Gaming Gamers whenever they have control of the ball. I would say, though, you know, if you want to open that up, Gaming Gamers haven't really kept possession much long after that because they aren't pushing numbers so far forward. So if you can depossess them at any point in time and keep it for yourself, you're probably going to be in better stead, right?
Yeah.
Still, at the moment, the possession has been holding for Gaming Gamers.
Yeah, it's been holding for about 20 seconds right now. Zuko trying to slow play it through the corner. Actually wins the 50 against Zen, yet no one able to follow it through. Steva goes for the ceiling pinch, does not connect, and Fiber can just take it right underneath. Won't be able to follow through with that next touch, but that's why you have teammates like Misty, and so much of that backboard was open, yet Zen kind of sits back and waits for the overcommit from Riot, attempting to play it through the corner. Misty doesn't like the look and instead falls back on defense.
Counter-attack chance here for Riot Gaming, and they've also got some open area in front of the pitch that should be in, and it is. Change will secure it to tie it up.
And finally, the aggressive positioning, the more forward play from Riot does get rewarded. No one going on that backboard to challenge Siva on the setup right there, and somehow Change just sneaks through unnoticed. Tie game now with only 30 seconds to go.
Yeah, you saw that coming a mile away, especially with Fiber moving to that front post, made it difficult for him to defend the backboard. The Riot Gaming, as their aggression gets better, you can kind of see exactly why they cause these upsets in the lower bracket, exactly how they managed to make it into the top 8. they continue on like that, they should potentially get the next goal. And Zuko does get the possession. He will go for one of his massive mechanical solo plays, but it won't pan out.
Yeah, Zuko can pull off those mechanical plays as well. I'm happy you brought that up. Just hasn't really been able to connect on them today. Fiber, that would have been good had there been another second left on the clock. Instead, we go to our second overtime.
Yeah, what's held Zuko back in this game, in this series so far, is the fact that he spent most of his time trying to make solo plays in the defense, dribbling it out slowly. An attack here, though, he can get some more chances, some more room in the ball in that aggressive half. That's where we might see him have a lot more impact. And for now, though, Gaming Gamers just holding on against a barrage of shots.
Yeah, Gaming Gamers looking for that chance to break it across the middle of the pitch, but with Riot and their new look in this third game, it's going to be that much more difficult. Siva going for the stealing shot is shut down. 50-50 sees both cars taken out, and Change will be the one who follows it through. Zen now in the corner, again loses out to Change, yet Fiber has a chance to bang it back forward, puts it a little bit too high where Siva can cut it off, yet Misty is the one who finds Zen on the pass. Good save by Zuko, though, stops this game from ending.
Fiber has a chance here with a shot on target, but it doesn't go into the net as Mist also has a chance to go, but defense coming out from Siva. I actually would say I rate Siva's defense the highest on this team because he's making choices on whether he wants to go for the dribble or go for the clear. He's not really getting into the one habit and being beatable. There's a counterattack there, but the bump from Fiber stops Zuko.
That was huge out of Fiber, but they're not out of danger yet. Riot still set up to attack, at least until we see a good clear and a bit of a miss from Siva. A little caster curse right there as we highlight his defense. Yet we'll be able to connect on that second attempt, but he connects it right to Zen, and that's going to be game number 3 taken by the Gaming Gamers.
And that's tough. When you've got this pressure against you, it was somewhat of a counterattack. There was a miss as well. When you have that pressure against you, it's really difficult to keep on the defense. And a bump in the net will open it up and give Gaming Gamers match point.
A little bit heartbreaking for Riot, as well as I do feel that was the best they have looked so far in this series, and I hope they continue to keep playing forward, to keep trying to shut down that middle of the pitch, because that will give them the best chance to find the victory here. Yet another overtime, this one doesn't really go their favor. Perhaps avoid the overtime next time. I know it's easy to say, yeah, just score more goals and win. However, if Riot can sort of avoid those situations, if they get that early lead, I think the series might play out very differently.
Yeah, it's also kind of crazy to think that Riot Gaming only had 4 shots to 9. And it really felt like, in terms of offense, they were doing a lot more, but obviously not really ever finishing or like putting an actual shot on in the end of the day too. So as much as I like seeing them more aggressive in your face, challenging a lot earlier, it's still not kind of creating those opportunities, and they're going to be kind of sad that they gave away that early goal.
Absolutely. I'm also kind of curious, though, with the shot count out of Gaming Gamers, how many of those were actually kind of just used to force rotations out of Riot? Yeah. It seemed like Gaming Gamers were constantly just taking shots for the sake of taking shots. I'm not sure all of those were proper opportunities, perhaps, yet still, every shot, I suppose, is an opportunity if a player does whiff. We've seen crazy things happen before, and looking pretty crazy right now. The ball just rolling across the middle of the pitch. Finally, Fiber scoops it up.
He also gets the boost, which was really important. He was quite low, and they were on a counter-attack, defense, so could have been a bit worrying there for Gaming Gamers as more challenges coming out from Riot Gaming. See some solo players come out, but with the demo in the mid-pitch, this is going to be difficult. Gaming Gamers have to worry, as Siva's also chasing them down, but they deal with it very well.
Misty going to go for their own solo play right now. Gets it over the top of Zuko, and Siva actually cannot beat Fiber to the ball. Change is going to have the one to bail out Riot momentarily. It's a good pass to Zen. Zuko does what he can to disrupt it, and now Siva, with possession, instead of banging it, actually looks for the pass, and I would have liked to see him kind of push that one down the pitch because Gaming Gamers are still hungry for that goal. Zuko doing what he can to stop, but it's not quite enough. Siva barely is able to stop that goal from happening as well. Gaming Gamers, they are on the hunt.
Yeah, Zen's really been pushing forward as well, looking for some big plays. Again, kind of like opting for that solo play, hoping that that will beat out a defender and open up the net. So credit where credit's due for Riot as well. Their solo defense has stepped up. Their 50s and challenges in front of goal have prevented these solo plays from really panning out for Gaming Gamers.
Yeah, although it is a solo effort from Change who breaks those offensive rotations, and now perhaps we can see Riot with the chance, but In order for that to happen, you have to stop Fiber, who is doing everything himself right now, nearly gets that double touch to kind of squeak in. Zen on the opposite side will catch it, but Zuko stops the ball from rolling across the box. Fiber, another opportunity, has to use all of his boost to adjust in the air, yet still finds the pinch, and Fiber gets the first goal of game number 4.
Fiber's been a demons, and he really took this ball by the horns. You saw him 50 that over the top, but it was the dribble play in the middle. He's been doing this over and over again, really putting Riot on their toes, testing their mettle, and in the end, that goal is a crucial one, considering how low scoring these games have been.
Yeah, absolutely. Gaming Gamers have gotten early leads in pretty much every single game, and for the first time this series, they're going to extend that to a 2-goal differential, as this time they benefit off the kickoff.
They're going to be feeling pretty good here too, because they also took down Mind Freak to get into the top 8 if people missed out on that result. So Gaming Gamers with their first showing of missed may have a top 4 here if it continues going like this.
Gaming Gamers in a top 4. They always seem to find their way into these semifinals in these events. Either that or sometimes they burn out quite early. So it is an expected result, I suppose, for this team. It is what they would be looking for, as defense right now from Riot desperate to try and take it out of their own half. But Gaming Gamers, this is more what they look like when they run the players like Levi, when they play the players like Vibe. This is sort of that more aggressive attacking front, and Riot sort of struggling to deal with it right now.
Yeah, especially, you see in Gaming Gamers really just push back. They know that Riot continue going for these solo plays out of defense, which means that it gives time for the Gaming Gamers to get more set. They're going to be even more happy right now for the gameplay to go like that, given they are 2 goals in the lead. Because Riot, if they want to be making this comeback, they have to change it up. They have to start banging the ball. They have to start passing, finding each other in the midfield, and being able to quickly turn these counterattacks so the defense doesn't have time to set up.
One of the big things I'm noticing, though, and why Riot does seem to be struggling, is they've had no control over their own corner boosts. I mean, Siva, of course, gets it right there, but every single time I'm watching the Gaming Gamers push forward, they have been taking that away, and it makes it that much harder for Riot to find their opportunity. Well, it could be happening right here. Change with an open net will get that goal, and Riot, they're not done yet.
It's just so good to see Change just hit the ball. Hey, before we see him dribble every single play out, he sped himself up there to beat out the challenging player, and it works out so well for them. Kind of see how smart he was to get that underneath at the very end as well, but all set up just because he tried to play this defense a little bit faster than they have been, and it caught Gaming Gamers a bit off guard.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Riot needed now. Only 1 goal down, still very much in this game. Ball even on the blue side of the pitch as Zuko's looking to set his team up. It will be Siva following it through. Bounces it a little bit too high, where Zen can play it off the backboard, looking to bang it across the pitch. Zuko will have to cut it off. Zen, though, again, content to sort of play ping pong, keep that ball up high, where you would think the Gaming Gamers might have the edge. Change does keep it low. Fiber off the backboard. Gets a nice pinch as well, and this is not what Riot needed. 1 minute remaining, and they still haven't been able to get some constant attacking pressure in this 4th game.
Yeah, Riot Gaming have really put up the heat. They've been challenging well. They actually look really good when they're aggressive. At the moment, though, they're stuck in defense. Only have 45 seconds to get this tiebreaker up, though. That's a rough touch from Fiber. Thankfully, Misty was there to save the day, though. Still opportunities coming the way of Riot Gaming for now.
I'm worried that they might be having connection issues, though. Zuko very slow to start moving as Change almost gets a nice 50 into that net. Riot still looking forward in these final seconds of game number 4. It's must win for Riot right now, and Zen definitely made this last goal that much harder with the clear right there. It's a good pass, though, back to Change. Shot a little bit high, and Fiber's able to keep it in the air. Siva falls it through. It's off the backboard. Zuko cannot quite get on top of it. 8 seconds remaining. Change still desperate for that last goal. Cannot get the dunk on Misty, and Siva pushes so far forward, gets no power behind the touch. Zen keeps the ball in the air, trying to clear it down. Change cannot catch it, and the Gaming Gamers advance to the semifinals.
Well, they hold on. They play very well mechanically, though, certainly could have been put to the test quite a lot there by Riot Gaming. I really liked how Riot looked when they were playing a lot more aggressive, when they were really getting in the face. Unfortunately, I think they're not used to that as well, so there were a couple of moments where the rotations broke down when it came for that time to, pull in that third person to take the shot. It often was just spilling out into, the middle of the goal, and they would be running back to defense.
And we sort of see that reflected in their stat line as well. Only 3 shots taken by Riot in game number 4, despite, at times where they would have that established attacking pressure. It was just more pressure, but no heated pressure, no shots actually on target. The third man constantly too far back when they were actually pushing forward. So a bit unfortunate for Riot. I still think it's a good performance for them as a team, making it to the top 8 in this event, as well as taking a game off the Gaming Gamers. They should be relatively proud of that. And if anything, they should be hungry for more right now, because they've proven they can get these top 8 results.
Yeah, and I think long term they can look at these series, especially this one, and kind of figure out their gaming, their play style, not necessarily working against the top. They have to figure. I can see Riot Gaming's, very defensive, very calm play style working very well against teams outside of the top 8. But against Gaming Gamers, they can do what you can do, but just be better individually, mechanically. So you have to try and find something different to play up to those guys. And we saw when they removed the amount of time that Gaming Gamers had, when they got in their face, they looked a lot better. I think they can work on that in the next week and come back, of course, not in the major on this weekend, but in just less than a week's time now, and try all over again to take down the likes of Gaming Gamers with that extra information.
I feel like some of the problems that you're saying that Riot has, though, can almost be carried over to Gaming Gamers when they do make these top 4 situations, where soon they run into teams like Cringe Society, where their normal strategies just isn't good enough to sort of beat those top teams. And I've got that full Pokemon sort of theme in my head right now, where it's like Riot is the starter, then Gaming Gamers are the next evolved form, and perhaps Cringe Society are that final evolved form. As you can see, they probably are going to be getting over that useful team right now in that quarterfinal bracket. Similarly, we also have the Sneaky Boys with Renegades, and Ground Zero are playing Mind Freak. For our next match on stream, we will be looking at that lower bracket semifinal. Expected to be Renegades versus Ground Zero, but who knows what happens till those results are locked in.
Yeah, and, again, like kind of back to Gaming Gamers and the way they're playing. It's going to be tough for them up against the likes of Cringe Society, but you know what? It's kind of the same exact bracket, assumedly, as we had in RLCS Event 3. If Cringe Society win, then they're up against Gaming Gamers in the semifinal. If Ground Zero win, they're up against Renegades in the semifinal. So at least it's a chance for revenge, a real chance to see these top teams playing up against each other all night.
Yeah, it's the most consistent Oceania has kind of looked in a good long while, and I think we should savor that for this moment at least. However, we will have to throw to a break. So when we come back, we will be kicking off that semifinals. Do not go too far. More Rocket League when we return.